what came when he was Olorin, what came when people called him all his other names, when he was on, whether he was with Nienna or whoever he was with, wherever he was doing, what happens when he begins to understand those things. Hey there, nice to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially now when I get to speak with you. The honor is all mine. So
Well,
I'm writing for Movies in Sweden with
yes,
Jonathan Bloomberg.
I think we've
We
spoken
actually
before.
spoke.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. But back then I didn't know who you were
No,
playing,
no, no,
which
no.
I know now. So as we spoke about then, and as I'm sure that you've been asked a bunch of times, maybe already today, is how it felt when you actually learned that yourself. Because I know, as you told me, that you didn't know who you were playing, and you even thought you were playing Sauron for like
Right.
a page or two.
Yeah. No, it was we came to a bit of the filming. We filmed most of our stuff in an island called Tenerife, which is one of the Canary Islands. And we did it. We had to do a couple of internal scenes in studio. So the inside of Tom Bombadil's house was a studio setting, and it was
Yeah.
really beautiful. Well, you've seen it, but it was a really cool place to film. Anyway, about a week before we were due to leave that location, that studio location, the showrunners came to me and they said, "Okay, so here's the deal. We've got to we've got to break down Tom Bombadil's house, and we're only currently at episode 4, no, episode 6 for me, and but there's something you need to say in episode 8 in Tom Bombadil's house that we're going to have to film out of sequence because we got to break it down." And I said, okay. And they said, we'd like you to sit down for this. Come to the tent, sit down. And so I sat down, and the director Charlotte was there, Patrick showrunner was there, and they sort of looked at me and they said, so we're going to tell you what people are going to call him. And I was I was sort of like, whoa, okay, here we go. Because I've heard so many different people have told me so many different fan theories, and they're all so well supported. And anyway, so they said people are going to call you Gandalf. And I was just, absolutely sort of, I was pinching myself. It's like, it's such an iconic name, isn't it? What I loved
Yeah.
about finding that out and looking at the script was that it was something that, far from him bestowing this name upon himself, this was something that others in our story, others have bestowed upon him. Like others are calling him this, whether it's about Gandalf or things, but he can hear that this is going to stick. This is what I'm going to get called, and owning that as his name is a sort of lovely. I feel that's a very Gandalfian thing, that he hasn't sort of gone out there with his staff and said, "I'm going to be now. You will all call me." He's actually received something from everybody else, which I thought was really beautiful.
And I also think it's kind of bears fruit all the way back to the books where we know that he is someone that is really fond of the hobbits, and if
Yeah,
he actually got his name from the
yeah,
predecessors to the hobbits,
yeah.
that makes it even more beautiful in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And there are lots. I mean, if you look at, we've had the word Gand, it has come up a little bit around the idea of a walking stick, which is, I think goes back to Old Norse, is it? Or in so maybe Scandinavia somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but so all these origins of where a name might come from, I think, as you say, they're really rich. I love the fact that he's connected to the sort of earth. I love there's something earthy in it, and I love the fact that it's also got something, pretty seriously to do with the Harfoot story, the interaction with the stores, the misunderstandings. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and also thinking in the of the future, playing the character now, you know that he is Gandalf, and people have said that, well, he doesn't come in during this time. Well, now he does. So uh, for you, looking forward, what is it that you kind of most are looking forward to kind of get to do with playing a character as iconic as Gandalf?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I get the chance to take him on a further story, I think we've opened through the stranger. We've opened this real sort of core part of his spirit, this warmth, this wonder, sort of childlike wonder, a sort of a quality of age and experience, like the idea of understanding, the ability to learn and assimilate things from other people and be wrong, the ability to be wrong and change. You know, all these things feel like really core Gandalfian qualities. And I suppose
I also, sorry for interrupting,
yeah, go.
I also like that something we spoke about last with the fireflies, because there is this darkness that he actually felt that taking life was something that intrigued him.
Yes,
you might have to go even deeper into in the future.
yeah, and I think that's right. And if you really want to project later on into some of the Tolkien stories, you know, there are clearly moments when Gandalf becomes worried by his own, you know, he is worried about taking the ring, the One Ring. You know, he fears. So I love the fact that he's got a humility about how powerful he could be or how right he could be, and that I think, along with being a wise figure, a wizard, comes through massive amounts of experience and the ability to look at our own behavior and say, huh, I came up short here, or I wasn't good enough here, or I need to try harder on that, or that was really, I was really pleased with how I dealt with this situation. I really think I did well there, you know, or I was kind to this person. All those things which feel so right for him, and we've explored. I think the fun thing, if I get a chance to go on with him, you know, the fun thing will be trying to mesh that with an increased understanding of what came before, you know, his eternal nature, what came when he was Olorin, you know, what came when people called him all his other names, you know, when he was on, you know, whether he was with Nienna or whoever he was with, wherever he was doing, what happens when he begins to understand those things? What does that bring to him? So it feels like it's, because normally when you're opening character, you're sort of you're thinking about the horizon widening in front of you, but strangely with Gandalf, it also widens behind him as well, you know, in terms of our understanding of through the stranger. So I think that would be really fascinating to play.
Yeah, and I think we're running out of time now, but just Rory Kinnear, your favorite moment with him?
Oh, there were so many lovely moments. I mean, he's very, you know, he played Tom with such a sort of light touch, and we had a lot of animals that we worked with, some of which made the final cut, some of which didn't. There was a scene which didn't, where Tom sort of put some snakes in the bathtub with the stranger. That whole sequence was quite something. I mean, you know, trying to avoid being bitten by real live snakes, and you know, Tom Bombadil wandering around, and the stranger sort of, you know, totally out of his comfort zone. Pretty incredible, yeah.
Thanks a lot for taking your time to speak.
It's lovely to speak to you. Yeah.
Best of luck now with the
Thank you so much.
Here.
Thank you. See you soon.